Uh, Welcome back, guys. So this is the part two where I'm gonna describe you about why DSA is not that important, the way it is hyped up, right? And yesterday, well, while I was reviewing my previous video, if you have watched that one, I would recommend that watching that first part. And while I was reviewing it, I kind of missed few points which I thought was important to add. Then I thought maybe I would add in the comment section. Then I thought it could be quite long, so here we have in the video form. So, first question we need to ask ourselves, right? Why on the first place in interviews or in like any kind of examination, right? Why DSA is being asked on the first place, right? Fuck that, right? Yes, this is completely true. So it is asked because all of us are seen as same, equivalent. So usually whenever there is this happens like this is an ecosystem which is built in a college and the universities that there will be some mass hiring company like TCS, Infosys, and Capgemini, and this kind of thing. Maybe Genpact and companies like this, right? Who kind of hire mass students, right? So they has to go through the interview process. A lot of time, college will set up this kind of pool interviews and everything, right? So these kind of thing is set up by college, and college, what is that they have some kind of setting, right? Where they will set up, like maybe I think they bribe as well sometime to companies to come in their campus and do the hiring. And in that process, the process is simple. Most of the students are very similar. Everybody is a BTech graduate or a BCA graduate or like some graduate in IT. And it's very hard to differentiate each of them or to assess how good they are because all the profile are very similar, right? Very similar. You will find mostly all your, even you and your friend, your both of the profile will be very similar. And how they want to judge is that how want to see like you are good, and they cannot ask programming questions from you, right? Programming question cannot be asked in interview because it is a syntactical thing, right? Syntax could be memorized and everything, right? And that doesn't actually tells lot about your capabilities. Whenever I ask you, let's say, a programming question, it's mostly like the guy who has practiced much and who could remember stuff would tell those answers. There's no actual test of intelligence, right? And in that scenario, DSA kind of comes at a rescue. Basically, DSA, the graph and trees, these are little bit complicated, and these are also everybody know that that must be a part of your curriculum, and how well you have understood this because there is a logical steps behind it. So they can logically test you by asking this question, right? So this is a setting for somebody who is a fresher, right? But in in this competitive world, right? First of all, if you're an average guy, please back out from my video or channel or something like this. Or if you have potential to, because all the advices I'm not going give is giving for average people, right? Average, there is a lot of way redundant way of getting average result. If you feel like you want something more than average and you are not average and you have something which you can do, then you're in the right place. My advice is totally unapplicable for average people, right? If you are expecting average result and doing everything, that is fine. Over here, my advices will be uh, like more like a smart work and make your learning enjoyable. Your hard work, whatever you are giving to it, it should give the return of investment as much as you are investing. So that is the idea. So that advice I would say that mostly people are as fresher, and that's why they ask DSA question because they don't have any context to ask from, right? All of your profiles will look very similar, but how we can solve it? How, because the return of investment from data structures and algorithm is not that much. I've seen a lot of people investing too much time in it, and the return of investment is very poor. Instead, I would say make yourself as a second employee. What I mean by second, you're not fresher anymore. How can you make yourself not fresher without joining the college? So basically, you have to pick up any subject which you like, any project idea which you have, and start implementing. It could be in blockchain, it could be a website building, it could be backend somewhere, it could be AI, machine learning, it could be quantum computing, it could be cloud computing, it could be in database or something like this, right? Start building it, right? And once you start building, all these DSA things will somehow will be tested over there or will be used here. If you are making a complex thing, it will be somewhere, it will be used, and then you will have this time to come back and see what where it is being used, and actually you will know the application of this kind of thing instead of just solving some problem. So, and this way your profile will build up. You will have certain projects in your CV. So when this interviewee or somebody asks, he might be asking DSA questions from all the people, but when he sees your profile that okay, you have done two, three things, and one of his like interests, like that guy finds something interesting in your profile, most of the question interview will be around that only. Then you don't have to go in DSA. Or even if you can tell them I haven't much practice, whatever the application I have used, that was used in this application, I can answer that. My most expertise are in this project. If you could assess me on that basis, it will fine. And so if you're a DSA, like if you're still stuck with DSA, that is for somebody's mass hiring. That is a boring way of hiring. That is very risky way of getting hired. Even if you get hired, your salary will start from 3.5 LPA at most, and the way you will grow at most you will go 5 or something 2 3 years. Boring life. But if you make yourself as a second employee, you will not look as a fresher. Get an internship, something, right? And you actually work on something instead of actually wasting a lot of time on DSA. Just whatever it is in your semester, and don't spend a penny of time other than that. So when you do that, right, your profile will look like you're not fresher. Although you are fresher, but you will have certain projects in your CV, and lot more questions will be around you. Like if you like, just like me, if you build a AI project over there and everything, right, there is so much things to talk about. I remember my first TCS interview, which I cracked. So yeah, it was a really good conversation which I had. All the people were asked these normal. For me, he asked me neural networks and a lot of AI related machine learning questions. And it was a very short. He was quite astonished that somebody in back in 2018 was doing something like this, which was making me stand out. My interview was very short. I actually answered all his questions, and he asked me what are your future plans, what are the algorithms you want to learn or something, right? Sometime if the interviewer is really good, he will ask you future plans. You should know what are the things you want to learn next, right? You have to present a learnable guy, right? It's not you should be blind guy who doesn't know what he wants to do in the future. So they have this kind of thing. And my interview went so well that the interview time was supposed to have 1 hour 40 minutes, but we kind of finished in 20 minutes. He was like, okay, you're done, right? Tell me about the places to visit in Masuri and Dehradun. So that time it was in Dehradun. So I was basically telling after my interview that, okay, you can visit this place or something like this. So that's how it went. So yeah, this kind of expertise which you bring in your CV, that is more than enough. That is more than enough, and then you don't have to just solve a lot of lead code problems and like this kind of thing. And what is the best part is that when you're trying to practice lead DSA or any lead code, the thing is the process is not very rewarding. It's very mundane and it's very boring. But when you actually build something, it's very interesting. As the layer by layer you go up, there is something in front of your eyes which is working. You'll feel really good. It's like you are having a child and your child is dancing on Kajrare Kajrare, and see how proud you feel as a parent. Same way, it's like your kid is there and it's doing something and people are getting benefited from you or doing some kind of magic on the screen. That will reward you and boost your motivation so much that you will very much excited to the work on the next part. And you can show off, you can validate with your parents and friends, you see something working. And maybe if you're lucky, I've seen a lot of startups has been generated like this only. They just start with a project, and a lot of time you don't have to even think of a very brilliant project. Just start with anything your mouth. A lot of people will procrastinate on the idea that, oh, I don't have any good interesting idea about a project or something. But that is stupid. Just any, if even if it is done by 1,000 people, start with it. Start with it. On the way, you will bombarded with ideas. I'm making this promise to you. Once you start a project, while you're making, you will be bombarded with ideas, and then you have to pick and choose. Okay, maybe I could change this, and this project will go into this direction, and this thing I could add or something like this. So just stop procrastinating and start with a project. So that I would say, whatever you're doing, maybe you're doing a Python and whatever Java and whatever your language you're doing, just pick a project. If you're in IT, you must have some kind of project ideas in your head, or some game you want to develop, even that is okay. There's so much cool projects in AI. If you're doing, you can do a lot of reinforcement learning, or where you can solve games, right? Find best strategies and this kind. I think those kind of thing I will be bringing in future videos. Also, I will be making a future video which I'm thinking about making on. I had something in the mind which I'm forgetting right now. But anyway, you subscribe, you will know once I recollect that idea. I think a very similar topic I'm gonna make a video. So I hope you find some value from this video, and we will see in the next video. So take care, keep failing, fail fast, improve, and we'll meet in the next video.